Today I want to share something that will forever change the way you approach your life. There are three simple words that can turn your deepest desires, your wildest dreams, into reality. It sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? But that's because we've been conditioned to believe that manifestation is a struggle, that we must force our will to create what we want. Nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is, the power to manifest anything you want already lies within you, waiting to be unleashed. And these three words, when spoken from a place of belief, trust, and inner knowing, are the key to unlocking that power. They are more than just words. They are the vibration that signals to the universe that your dream has already been realized. They are a declaration of your state of being, the essence of creation itself. But before I reveal the words, you must understand that manifestation is not about asking for something that doesn't exist. It is about aligning yourself with the state of already having it. Everything you desire is already yours. The moment you ask, it is given. The universe is not withholding your dreams, it is waiting for you to claim them. And to claim them, you must move beyond doubt, beyond fear, and into the knowing that what you want is already yours. So what are these three words? It is done. These words hold the power to transform your life instantly and effortlessly. When you say, "It is done," you are not hoping, you are not wishing, and you are certainly not begging. You are stating a fact. You are speaking from a place of certainty that your desire has already materialized, even if your physical eyes cannot yet see it. You see, the moment you declare it is done, you are collapsing the gap between wanting and having. You are no longer waiting for something to happen in the future, you are living from the end, acting as if it is already so. This is the key. The law of assumption teaches us that whatever we assume to be true in consciousness must manifest in our reality. When you say it is done, you are assuming the state of your wish fulfilled. You are living in the end, and the universe has no choice but to respond to that. Now you might be wondering, how can it manifest in just one day? It's because time, as we perceive it, is an illusion. The universe does not operate within the confines of time. It operates in alignment with your state of being. When you fully embrace the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled, manifestation happens swiftly and effortlessly. In fact, it can happen in the blink of an eye. The only delay is your resistance, the doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs that block the flow of creation. So how do you remove this resistance? By stepping into the feeling that it is already done. Feel it now. Close your eyes and imagine what it would feel like to already have what you want. How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think and act? Embody that version of yourself, the one who already has everything they desire. Let that feeling flood your entire being. And then when you are fully immersed in that state, speak the words, "It is done." Say it with conviction. Say it with belief. Feel the shift in your energy as you speak it. Because in that moment, you are no longer asking, you are receiving. The door to your dreams is wide open, and all that is required of you is to step through it. Let me share a truth that many miss. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back to you whatever you project into it. When you live in lack, it mirrors lack. When you live in abundance, it mirrors abundance. The universe is not deciding what you get or don't get, it is simply responding to the state you are in. And when you declare it is done, you are projecting the state of fulfillment. You are no longer in the vibration of wanting, but of having. This is why it works so quickly, because you are no longer holding your desire at arm's length. You are bringing it into the present, into the now. So I urge you, stop wishing, stop hoping, stop doubting. Begin to live in the knowing that what you desire is already yours. Practice this every day. Whenever a doubt creeps in, remind yourself it is done. Whenever you feel impatient, say to yourself it is done, and most importantly, feel the truth of those words in every fiber of your being. Because when you truly believe that it is done, it must manifest. The universe is bound by law to bring you whatever you assume to be true. This is not magic, it is the natural order of creation. You are the creator of your reality, and your words, your thoughts, your feelings are the tools you use to shape it. The moment you declare, "It is done," you shift into a state of receivership, where everything you desire flows to you effortlessly. You no longer have to chase your dreams because they are already chasing you. So what do you want to manifest? A new job? A loving relationship? Financial abundance? It doesn't matter what it is, the process is the same. Close your eyes, feel the reality of it, and speak the words, "It is done." And then let go of any doubt, any worry. Trust that it is already on its way, because it is. Remember, you are not separate from the universe, you are one with it. The power that creates worlds is within you, waiting to be unleashed. And all it takes is 3 simple words to set that power in motion. Say it now with absolute certainty, "It is done," and watch as your dreams manifest into reality, faster than you ever imagined possible. The beauty of this process is that it is incredibly simple. Yet simplicity is often the most difficult thing for us to grasp, isn't it? We have been trained to believe that for something to be powerful, it must be complex. But life's greatest truths are always simple. The power of creation does not lie in elaborate rituals or difficult practices. It is in the stillness of your mind and the conviction of your heart. The words "it is done" are powerful precisely because of their simplicity. They carry within them the essence of creation, the ability to bring forth into the physical what already exists in the unseen. The unseen realm is not a distant place, it is right here, within and around you at all times. Everything you could ever desire is already created in this invisible space. And your job is not to struggle to create it, but to align yourself with the reality of it. The moment you declare "it is done," you are stepping into that reality, allowing it to materialize effortlessly. I want you to understand something fundamental. You are not creating anything new. You are simply becoming aware of what already exists. Your desires, your dreams, they are not some future possibility. They are present realities waiting for you to claim them. And the words "it is done" are your claim. They are your acceptance of what is already yours. The human mind, however, is often our greatest barrier. It clings to what is visible, what is tangible, and it struggles to accept that the unseen is just as real, if not more so. But what is visible to the physical eye is only a small fraction of the vast reality that surrounds us. The unseen, the unmanifest, is where all things begin. Every physical object, every experience you've ever had, was once an idea, a thought, an unseen potential. When you say "it is done," you are acknowledging this truth. You are recognizing that the unmanifest is as real as the manifest. In fact, it is the source of all that is manifest. Everything begins in consciousness, and your consciousness is the creative force that brings it into form. So when you say "it is done," you are not just uttering words. You are shifting your consciousness. You are moving from the state of wanting, which implies lack, into the state of having, which implies fulfillment. This shift in consciousness is the key to manifestation. You cannot manifest from a place of lack, from a place of wanting, because the universe will only mirror back to you what you are. If you are in a state of lack, the universe will continue to give you more experiences of lack. But when you say "it is done" and truly believe it, you are shifting into the state of having, and the universe will reflect that back to you. You may ask, how can I believe something is done when I cannot yet see it? And this is where faith comes in. Faith is not blind hope, it is the knowing that what you desire is already yours, even if your physical senses cannot yet perceive it. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the unmanifest and the manifest. It is the conviction that the moment you ask, it is given. But understand this, you are not asking in the way you may think. To ask is to assume. When you assume something is true, you are asking the universe to reflect that assumption back to you. This is the secret that has been known by all great teachers throughout history. They understood that the power to manifest lies not in the asking, but in the assuming. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You must assume that it is already done, and then act from that state. And this is why the words "it is done" are so powerful. They are an assumption. They are a declaration that what you desire has already come to pass. When you say these words, you are no longer in a state of wanting or hoping. You are in a state of fulfillment. And it is this state that the universe responds to. So I ask you, how would you live your life if you truly believed that your desires were already fulfilled? How would you think? How would you feel? How would you act? Begin to live from that state now, because that is the state that will bring your desires into reality. You must embody the feeling of already having what you want. Feel it in every fiber of your being. When you wake up in the morning, feel the joy and gratitude of already living your dream. When you go to bed at night, fall asleep in the assumption that it is done. This is not pretending it is creating. It is the process by which you bring the unseen into the seen. The physical world is simply a mirror of your inner state. If you are in a state of lack, if you are constantly focused on what you don't have, the mirror will reflect that back to you. But if you are in a state of fulfillment, if you live from the knowing that your desires are already yours, the mirror will reflect that. The outside world is a reflection of your inner world, and when you change your inner state, your outer reality must change to match it. Now, this is where most people falter. They say the words "it is done," but they do not fully believe it. They allow doubt to creep in, and doubt is what blocks the manifestation. Doubt is what keeps you in the state of wanting, in the state of lack. You must be unwavering in your belief that it is done. You must trust the process even when your physical eyes cannot yet see the evidence. The universe works in perfect harmony, and when you align yourself with the state of having, the universe will move mountains to bring your desire into reality. But you must be patient. You must not allow impatience to disrupt the process. Impatience is a sign that you are still living in the state of wanting. It is a signal to the universe that you do not truly believe that it is done. Patience, on the other hand, is a signal of trust. It is the knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if you cannot yet see it. It is the belief that your desire is already on its way to you, and that all you need to do is remain in the state of having. So how do you stay in this state of having? You practice it every day. You make it a habit to feel the feelings of already having what you want. You use your imagination, which is the creative power of the universe, to bring the feeling of fulfillment into your present moment. Your imagination is not just a tool for daydreaming, it is the bridge between the unmanifest and the manifest. When you use your imagination to feel the reality of your desire, you are bringing it into existence. But you must also let go. Let go of the need to control how and when your desire will manifest. The moment you say it is done, you have placed your order with the universe. Trust that the universe knows the perfect way to bring it to you. It may come in ways you never expected, in ways that are far better than you could have imagined. But you must allow it to come. You must not cling to the outcome, because clinging is a sign of lack. It is a signal to the universe that you do not truly believe it is done. So let go. Release the need to know how it will happen. Release the need to know when it will happen. Trust that it is already done, and that the universe is orchestrating everything in your favor. The moment you release your attachment to the outcome, you open the door for your desire to manifest. Remember, the universe is not withholding anything from you. It is not testing you or making you prove your worth. You are already worthy. You are already deserving of everything you desire. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is your own belief. So believe. Believe that it is done, and it will be. And when the manifestation comes, and it will come, do not be surprised. Do not act as though something miraculous has happened. Act as though it was the most natural thing in the world, because it is. Manifestation is not a miracle, it is the natural order of the universe. It is how things work. It is the process by which the invisible becomes visible, by which the unmanifest becomes manifest. So say the words "it is done," say them with conviction, with belief, with the full knowing that your desire is already yours. And then live from that state. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the fulfillment of already having what you want. And watch as the universe brings your dreams into reality, faster than you ever thought possible. It is already done. The more you affirm this, the deeper it seeps into your consciousness, and the faster your reality will shift. You see, creation is not something distant or separate from you. It is you. The moment you say it is done, you are declaring that the creative process has already been set in motion. You are stepping into a new state of being, and that state, that assumption, is the key to everything. Imagine you are standing in front of a locked door. On the other side of this door is everything you've ever wanted: success, love, abundance, health, happiness. But the key to unlock this door is not outside of you, it is within. The key is your own belief, your conviction that it is already done. The moment you say with full certainty, "It is done," the door swings open effortlessly. You don't have to force it, you don't have to push or pull. It simply opens because you hold the key. This is why I urge you to hold these words in your heart, to let them permeate your entire being. It is done. These words are not just a mental exercise. They are a shift in awareness, a transformation in consciousness. They are your declaration to the universe and to yourself that the work is already complete. When you embody this belief, you are no longer striving or struggling. You are no longer in a state of need or desperation. You are in the state of fulfillment. And this state is what allows your desires to materialize in your world. It's important to understand that the physical world is always a reflection of your inner state. Everything you experience in your outer life is a direct mirror of what is happening within. If you are in a state of doubt, fear, or worry, the world will reflect that back to you. But when you move into the state of knowing, the state of unwavering belief that it is already done, the world has no choice but to conform to that belief. You must hold this belief in the face of all appearances. Even when the outer world seems to show you the opposite, you must remain firm in your conviction. The physical world is always lagging behind the mental and spiritual worlds. It takes time for the unseen to become seen, for the invisible to become visible. But that does not mean it isn't already done. The moment you declare it, the moment you feel it as real within yourself, it is done. I think of the seed planted in the soil. When you plant a seed, you do not doubt that it will grow. You do not stand over the soil, anxiously waiting for it to sprout, wondering if it will ever happen. No, you trust that the seed will grow because you understand the process. You know that the seed must first take root in the darkness beneath the surface before it can emerge into the light. And so it is with your desires. The moment you plant the seed of your desire, by declaring it is done, the process begins. But just like the seed, it takes time for your desire to take root and grow. It must first develop in the unseen realms before it can appear in the physical. This is why patience and faith are so crucial. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you have faith, you are not relying on your physical senses to confirm what you know to be true. You are relying on your inner knowing, your inner vision. Faith is the bridge that connects the invisible with the visible, the unmanifest with the manifest. And patience is the understanding that everything happens in perfect timing. The universe operates on its own schedule, not ours. But rest assured, when you declare it is done, the universe immediately begins to work on your behalf. Your only job is to remain steadfast in your belief, to hold the vision of your fulfilled desire, and to allow the universe to bring it into being. But how do you maintain this belief, this feeling of fulfillment, when the world around you may seem to show you otherwise? This is where your imagination becomes your most powerful tool. Your imagination is not just a place of fantasy or escape. It is the creative power of the universe working through you. Everything that has ever been created in this world, every invention, every piece of art, every achievement, began in someone's imagination. Your imagination is the blueprint for your reality. When you imagine something vividly, with feeling and emotion, you are planting the seed of that reality in the unseen realms. And when you nourish that seed with your belief and attention, it must grow. It must become your reality. So I urge you to use your imagination wisely. Spend time each day imagining your desire as already fulfilled. Don't just see it, feel it. Feel the joy, the excitement, the relief of already having what you want. Feel it so deeply that it becomes real to you, more real than anything you can see with your physical eyes. Because in truth, what you imagine is just as real as what you can see and touch. In fact, it is more real because it is the source from which all physical things arise. When you live in the state of your wish fulfilled, when you feel as though your desire is already yours, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of that reality. You are becoming a vibrational match to your desire, and the universe will bring it to you effortlessly. You won't have to chase it, you won't have to struggle for it. It will come to you naturally as a result of your alignment. But alignment is not a one-time thing. It is something you must practice every day. Every moment of every day, you are choosing what you align with. You are either aligning with your desires or with your doubts. You are either living in the state of having or in the state of wanting, and the choice is always yours. When you find yourself slipping into doubt or fear, gently bring yourself back to the state of having. Remind yourself that it is already done. Speak the words aloud if you must. It is done. Feel the truth of those words in your heart. And then return to the feeling of already having what you want. It's important to remember that your feelings are your guide. Your emotions are always telling you what you are aligning with. When you feel joy, gratitude, and peace, you are in alignment with your desires. When you feel fear, doubt, or frustration, you are in alignment with lack. So pay attention to how you feel throughout the day and use your feelings as a compass to guide you back to the state of fulfillment. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to stay in alignment with your desires. When you are grateful, you are acknowledging that you have already received. You are affirming that it is done. So cultivate a practice of gratitude. Each day, give thanks for your desires as though they are already fulfilled. Feel the gratitude in your heart as you imagine your dreams coming true. This feeling of gratitude is the signal to the universe that you are in the state of having, and it will respond by bringing more things for you to be grateful for. It's also important to let go of any attachment to the outcome. Attachment comes from a place of fear and lack. It is the belief that if you do not get what you want, you will somehow be incomplete or unhappy. But true manifestation comes from a place of trust and surrender. It comes from the knowing that you are already whole, already complete, and that your desires are simply an expression of the fullness of who you are. When you let go of attachment, you are telling the universe that you trust the process. You are saying, I know it is done, and I trust that it will come to me in the perfect way and at the perfect time. This surrender is not a giving up, but a releasing of control. It is an act of faith, a declaration of your trust in the divine timing of the universe. And when you release your attachment, you make space for your desire to come to you. You are no longer holding on so tightly that you block the flow of abundance. You are allowing the universe to bring you what you want in the most effortless and harmonious way possible. So remember, it is done. Hold these words in your heart. Speak them with conviction. Feel them in your being, and then live from that state. Live as though your desires are already fulfilled. Feel the joy, the gratitude, and the peace of already having what you want. And watch as the universe brings your dreams into reality, effortlessly and perfectly. If you are chosen by God, there is a sacred responsibility placed upon you, one that cannot be easily understood by those who have not felt His calling. The world may tempt you to share all that is happening in your soul, but there are some things, precious, delicate things, that are best kept between you and your Creator. The more we learn to protect these divine matters, the more clearly we hear God's voice in our lives, and the more securely we walk in His plan. First, do not reveal your struggles and trials to just anyone. These difficulties are often the chiseling tools that God uses to shape you into the person He intends you to be. Sharing them with those who cannot grasp their significance may diminish their sacredness. There is a mystery in suffering, a refining fire that transforms the soul. In your trials, God is doing something greater than what the eye can see. And when you expose those moments to others, you may lose the wisdom He is trying to impart to you. Secondly, your relationship with God is intimate, personal, and unique. It is not something to be paraded in front of others for validation or approval. The depth of your communion with Him, the moments when His voice whispers to your heart, and the quiet revelations that occur in prayer, these are holy experiences meant for you alone. When we seek to share them carelessly, we risk making sacred moments into spectacles, missing their deeper purpose. Do not, under any circumstances, reveal your plans before they come to fruition. When God places a dream or vision in your heart, it is a seed that must be nurtured in silence and faith. Speaking of it too soon can open the door for doubt, misunderstanding, or even sabotage. The world may not be ready to understand what God is doing in your life, and in their confusion, they may try to pull you off the path He has set before you. Trust that God will give you the right time to act and the right time to speak, for His timing is perfect. Fourth, never expose the depths of your weaknesses to those who are not prepared to handle them. As chosen ones, we often feel the weight of our inadequacies, but these are the very places where God's strength is made perfect. Sharing these vulnerabilities indiscriminately can lead others to question God's work in your life, or to misuse that knowledge against you. Instead, lay your weaknesses at the feet of God, for He alone understands how they will become the foundation of your greatest victories. Lastly, be cautious in revealing the full extent of your blessings. When God pours out His grace and favor upon you, it can provoke jealousy or misunderstanding in others. There are those who may not be able to see the hand of God in your blessings, and they may seek to undermine or belittle them. This is not to say that you should hide the goodness of God, but be wise in how and when you share the abundance He has given. Let the overflow of His blessings in your life speak for themselves, rather than seeking to make a display of them. In this journey of being a chosen one, wisdom is your greatest ally. What you keep in your heart, close to God, becomes a wellspring of strength. Trust that He will guide you, that He knows the road ahead better than anyone, and that His hand is upon you always. The path of a chosen one is not an easy one. It is often marked by moments of profound isolation, where even those closest to you may fail to understand the weight of your calling. This is not because they lack love or care, but because God has entrusted you with a burden they are not meant to carry. There is a divine secrecy to the way God operates in the lives of His chosen. He works in the hidden places, in the quiet chambers of the heart, away from the noise of the world. What He reveals to you in these moments is precious, sacred, and not meant for everyone to know. This is why it is crucial to guard your heart and guard what He has shown you. The world is not kind to those who are different, and being chosen by God sets you apart in ways that others cannot easily comprehend. When you reveal too much of what God is doing in your life, you invite voices that may not be aligned with His purpose for you. These voices, whether well-meaning or not, can cloud your discernment and pull you away from the path God has set before you. It is essential, therefore, to learn the art of silence. Silence in the life of the chosen one is not weakness or fear, it is wisdom. Silence allows you to commune with God without interference. It gives you space to process His revelations and His instructions before the world's opinions try to sway you. The world will always have its opinions, its judgments, and its criticisms, but none of those can touch the sacred space between you and your Creator. That is where true strength lies. When God begins to work in your life, especially in ways that are visible to others, there will be a temptation to share every detail. You might feel the urge to explain yourself, to justify your actions, or to make sense of the blessings you receive. But remember, not every blessing is meant to be broadcasted. Some blessings are meant to be lived, to be internalized, and to be treasured quietly. When you boast of your blessings, you risk diminishing their true value and opening yourself to unnecessary scrutiny. There is also the danger of sharing prematurely. Often God is still in the process of shaping and molding your blessings, and they are not yet ready for the world to see. Imagine a potter at work, carefully crafting a piece of clay into a beautiful vessel. If that vessel is shown too soon, before it has been fully formed or fired in the kiln, it may appear unfinished or flawed. The same is true for the work God is doing in your life. If you reveal it too soon, before it has been fully developed, you may invite misunderstanding or criticism that could hinder the process. The same caution applies to sharing the trials you face. Every trial, every challenge, and every hardship has a divine purpose in the life of a chosen one. These trials are not random or meaningless, they are tailored specifically to you, to refine you, to strengthen your faith, and to draw you closer to God. When you share your trials with others, particularly those who are not walking the same path as you, they may not see the purpose behind your suffering. They may pity you, offer misguided advice, or even try to discourage you from enduring the hardship. But God sees the end from the beginning. He knows the purpose of your trials, and He alone knows when they will end. Trust Him with your suffering and resist the urge to seek validation or comfort from those who cannot understand its purpose. God's chosen ones are often misunderstood. The world does not easily accept those who walk to the beat of a different drum, especially when that drum is the calling of God. You may find yourself alienated, criticized, or even mocked for the choices you make. But remember, you are not living for the approval of the world. You are living for the approval of God. The moment you seek validation from others, you risk losing sight of the one who has called you. It is better to walk alone with God than to walk with the crowd without Him. Another reason to guard what God reveals to you is the presence of spiritual opposition. When you are chosen by God, you become a target for forces that seek to disrupt His plan. These forces are not always visible, but they are very real. The enemy thrives on division, doubt, and fear, and he will use any means necessary to plant these seeds in your heart. When you speak too freely about what God is doing in your life, you give the enemy a foothold. You expose yourself to attacks that could have been avoided if you had kept those matters between you and God. It is also important to remember that not everyone around you is walking the same path. Even among those who share your faith, there are different levels of spiritual maturity and understanding. What God reveals to you in your walk with Him may not make sense to others, and they may question or challenge what you are experiencing. This is why discernment is so crucial. Discernment allows you to know when to speak and when to remain silent. It allows you to filter the voices that are not in alignment with God's will for your life. In the life of a chosen one, there is a delicate balance between sharing your testimony and keeping the sacred things hidden. There will be moments when God calls you to share your story, to encourage others by revealing what He has done in your life. But there will also be moments when He calls you to keep silent, to treasure those experiences in your heart, and to allow them to shape you privately. It is in those private moments that God does His deepest work. Your relationship with God is the most important relationship in your life. It is the foundation of everything you are and everything you will become. Protect that relationship fiercely. Do not allow the opinions of others, the distractions of the world, or the schemes of the enemy to come between you and your Creator. There is a reason why God calls His chosen ones to walk a narrow path. It is a path that requires focus, dedication, and above all, trust in Him. Trust is the cornerstone of your walk with God. Trust that He knows what is best for you, even when it doesn't make sense to others. Trust that He is working in your life, even when the evidence is not yet visible. Trust that He is guiding you, even when the path ahead seems unclear. This trust is not something to be shared or explained, it is something to be lived. The more you trust God, the less you will feel the need to justify yourself to others. There will be times when God asks you to step out in faith, to take risks that seem impossible or illogical. In those moments, the temptation to seek reassurance from others will be strong. But remember, faith is not about what others can see or understand. It is about trusting in what God has spoken to you, even when no one else believes it. Do not let the doubts of others shake your faith. Stand firm in the knowledge that God has chosen you, and that He will equip you for whatever lies ahead. As you walk this path, you will begin to realize that the most powerful moments in your relationship with God are often the ones that are hidden from the world. They are the quiet moments of prayer, the whispered promises in the night, the still, small voice that speaks to your heart. These moments are not for public display, they are treasures to be kept close to your heart. They are the foundation of your strength, the source of your peace, and the reason why you can face the world with confidence, even when it doesn't understand you. Being chosen by God is both a gift and a responsibility. It is a calling that requires wisdom, discernment, and a deep trust in His plan. It is not for the faint of heart, but for those who are willing to walk in faith, even when the way is unclear. As you continue on this journey, remember that God's hand is upon you, guiding you, protecting you, and leading you into the fullness of His purpose. Guard what He has given you, and trust that in His time, all will be revealed according to His perfect will. The role of being one of God's chosen ones means you are set apart for something far greater than yourself. This higher calling comes with a unique set of responsibilities that may not always be understood by those around you. As you navigate this path, one of the greatest lessons you will learn is that discretion and silence are often your most powerful allies. This is not out of fear or distrust, but out of reverence for the sanctity of the work God is doing in you. When God moves in your life, He often does so quietly, behind the scenes, in ways that are not immediately visible to others. There is a reason for this. God's plans are not meant to be exposed before their time. In a world that constantly pushes for transparency, sharing, and openness, the idea of keeping certain things to yourself may seem countercultural. But the wisdom of God is different from the wisdom of the world. What the world calls secretive, God calls sacred. What the world might view as withholding, God sees as protection. You are called to protect what He has entrusted to you, your dreams, your struggles, your victories, until the time comes for them to be revealed. One of the most difficult challenges as a chosen one is knowing who to trust with the intimate details of your spiritual journey. Not everyone is equipped to handle the weight of your calling, and not everyone has the discernment to understand what God is doing in your life. There will be moments when you feel isolated, when it seems that no one truly understands the magnitude of what you are experiencing. This isolation, however, is often a tool God uses to deepen your relationship with Him. It is in the quiet, solitary moments that He speaks to you most clearly. It is when the noise of the world fades that you can hear His voice without distraction. As a chosen one, you are likely to experience spiritual insights, visions, or moments of revelation that others may not. These are precious gifts from God, not to be flaunted or shared carelessly. When you share divine revelations with those who are not ready to receive them, you risk diminishing their impact, or worse, inviting unnecessary confusion or skepticism. This can lead to doubt, not only in their hearts, but in yours as well. There is a sanctity to the revelations God gives you. They are meant to build your faith, to strengthen your spirit, and to guide you on your unique path. Sharing them with others too soon can dilute their power and distract you from their true purpose. The temptation to share what God is doing in your life can be strong, especially when you are excited about the changes He is making. But be mindful that not everyone will understand or appreciate what you are experiencing. Some may try to offer advice or opinions that, though well-meaning, are not aligned with God's will for you. Others may react out of jealousy or fear, attempting to pull you away from the very thing that God is calling you to. It is important to remember that your relationship with God is personal and sacred. While there may be times when God prompts you to share your story to inspire or encourage others, there are also times when He calls you to keep things between you and Him. Another aspect of being chosen by God is the understanding that not every part of your journey will make sense to those around you. God's ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. What may seem illogical or even foolish to others may be part of a greater plan that only God can see. When you reveal too much of your journey, you open the door to judgment and criticism from those who do not share your vision. This can lead to doubt creeping into your own heart, causing you to second-guess the very things God has called you to do. There is also the reality that spiritual warfare is very real, and the enemy is always seeking to derail those who are walking closely with God. When you expose too much of what God is doing in your life, you may unintentionally give the enemy insight into your vulnerabilities or the areas where God is working to strengthen you. The enemy thrives on exploiting these areas of weakness. By keeping certain things between you and God, you shield yourself from unnecessary attacks and distractions that could hinder your spiritual growth. The world often misunderstands the nature of spiritual blessings. People may see the outward signs of God's favor on your life success, peace, joy, but they may not understand the inner transformation and the trials that accompany those blessings. Sharing your blessings too freely can lead to envy or misunderstanding. Others may think that you have received these blessings effortlessly, without recognizing the sacrifices and faith it took to get there. This can lead to resentment, or worse, cause others to stumble in their faith, believing that God has favored you over them. There is wisdom in learning to move in silence. Not every victory needs to be announced, not every struggle needs to be shared, and not every blessing needs to be broadcast. There is strength in knowing that God is working in your life, even if no one else sees it. Trust that when the time is right, God will reveal what needs to be revealed in His way and in His time. Until then, hold close to Him and allow Him to continue shaping you in the hidden places. Being chosen by God also means that you will often be called to walk a path that is different from those around you. This can be lonely at times, but it is also a great privilege. You are not meant to blend in with the world, you are meant to stand apart, to be a light in the darkness. This distinction comes with a responsibility to guard what God has given you. The world may not understand your journey, but that is because they are not called to walk it. You must walk by faith, not by sight, trusting that God is leading you even when the road ahead is unclear. The more closely you walk with God, the more He will reveal to you. But with greater revelation comes greater responsibility. You are entrusted with knowledge and understanding that others may not have, and it is your duty to steward that well. This means knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. It means being discerning about who you share your journey with and recognizing that not everyone is meant to accompany you on this path. There is a deep wisdom in learning to guard the treasures of your heart. Your relationship with God, your trials, your victories, and your revelations are sacred. They are the foundation of your walk with Him, and they must be protected. In guarding these treasures, you are not being secretive or selfish, you are being wise. You are acknowledging the holiness of what God is doing in your life and recognizing that not everyone is equipped to understand or appreciate it. As a chosen one, you are called to live a life of faith, trust, and obedience. This means trusting God with the details of your life, even when you do not fully understand them yourself. It means being obedient to His voice, even when it calls you to remain silent or to keep certain things hidden. It means walking in the assurance that God is for you, even when the world seems to be against you. The journey of a chosen one is not an easy one, but it is a journey filled with purpose and divine direction. You may not always see the full picture, but you can trust that God does. He sees the end from the beginning, and He knows the plans He has for you. As you continue to walk this path, remember that you are not alone. God is with you every step of the way, guiding you, protecting you, and leading you into the fullness of His plan for your life. So hold tightly to the things He has revealed to you. Treasure the sacred moments, the whispered revelations, and the divine insights that He gives you. Protect them from the noise and distractions of the world, and trust that in His time, all will be revealed according to His perfect will. Let your silence be a testament to your faith, your discretion a reflection of your wisdom, and your trust in God a beacon of light that guides you through even the darkest of times. The journey you are on as one of God's chosen is a walk of faith, a trust that transcends understanding, and often it is shrouded in mystery. The unseen hand of God guides you, and while the world may pressure you to disclose every detail, you must resist this urge. Silence at times is not only golden but sacred. It preserves the holiness of your relationship with God, allowing His will to manifest without interference. Many times you will encounter those who, out of curiosity or even genuine concern, will want to know what is going on in your spiritual life. They may ask probing questions or offer unsolicited advice, thinking they are helping. But not all well-meaning advice aligns with the divine direction God has set for you. Their perspective may be limited to worldly wisdom, whereas your path is governed by a heavenly perspective. Sharing too much with those who are not walking with you can not only confuse them but also open you up to doubts that were not there before. Guarding your spiritual journey does not mean isolating yourself completely from community or fellowship, but it means discerning what parts of your journey are meant to be shared and which parts are meant to be kept in the quiet, sacred space between you and God. You must understand that there are times when God reveals something to you that is solely for your benefit, for your growth, for your strengthening. When you prematurely share these things, you risk exposing them to scrutiny, misunderstanding, and even spiritual attack. There is also a special kind of power that comes from keeping certain things between you and God. This power lies in the intimacy of the relationship. When you learn to trust God with the secrets of your heart, without the need for external validation, you are walking in true faith. Faith, by its very nature, does not require the approval or understanding of others. It is deeply personal, rooted in your trust in God's character and His promises. The world around you may be loud, filled with opinions, noise, and distraction, but your inner world, the one shaped by your walk with God, is quiet, still, and peaceful. You must also remember that the timing of revelation is critical in God's kingdom. Ecclesiastes tells us that there is a time for everything, and this includes a time for speaking and a time for silence. Not every season is a season for sharing. In fact, some of the most profound seasons of growth and preparation occur in the hidden, quiet places of our lives. Just as a seed must be planted in the dark soil before it can sprout, so too must your spiritual growth often occur in the quiet, unseen places before it can manifest outwardly. In this world, the concept of keeping things to oneself is often associated with selfishness or a lack of transparency. But in God's kingdom, discretion is a virtue. It shows that you trust God to bring forth what needs to be revealed when it is time. You are not withholding out of fear or pride, but out of wisdom and reverence for what God is doing. When you learn to move in silence, you free yourself from the need for external validation. You are no longer seeking approval from others, because you have found your approval in God. This allows you to walk confidently, even when others do not understand. Another reason to keep certain things to yourself is that not everyone around you is prepared to handle the weight of your calling. The dreams, visions, and purposes that God has placed in your heart are specifically designed for you. They are tailored to your gifts, your experiences, and your relationship with God. When you share these things with people who are not equipped to understand them, they may unintentionally project their own fears or limitations onto you. They may try to advise you from a place of their own experience, which might not align with the path God has for you. You must also be mindful that the enemy is always looking for opportunities to distract, discourage, or derail those who are walking closely with God. When you reveal too much, you may be giving the enemy a glimpse into the areas where God is working in your life. Spiritual warfare is real, and the enemy often uses the words and actions of others to sow doubt and confusion in the minds of those who are trying to follow God's plan. By keeping certain things between you and God, you protect yourself from these unnecessary attacks. It is important to remember that while your journey may be unique, you are not alone. God is with you every step of the way, and He is your ultimate source of guidance and strength. The isolation you may feel at times is not a sign that you are abandoned, but rather a sign that you are being set apart for something greater. God often uses seasons of solitude to prepare His chosen ones for the work He has for them. It is in these quiet moments that He shapes you, refines you, and equips you for the tasks ahead. As you continue on this journey, you will also discover that the rewards of silence far outweigh the temporary satisfaction of sharing prematurely. There is a deep, abiding peace that comes from knowing that you are walking in step with God's timing. This peace is not dependent on the approval or understanding of others, but on the assurance that God is in control. He sees the bigger picture, and He knows the perfect time for everything to be revealed. The more you walk in this trust, the more you will experience the fullness of what it means to be one of God's chosen ones. You will learn that the silence is not empty, but full of divine purpose. Every moment of waiting, every instance of holding back, is part of the greater plan God has for you. And when the time comes for your journey to be revealed, it will be far more powerful and impactful than if you had tried to force it into the light prematurely. Your silence will speak louder than words. It will testify to your faith, your trust in God, and your understanding that His ways are higher than ours. Your discretion will be a reflection of your wisdom, showing that you know the value of the treasures God has entrusted to you. And when the time comes, God Himself will reveal what needs to be revealed, in His way and in His time, for His glory. In the stillness of your heart, in the quiet moments that are shared only between you and God, you are being molded into the person He has called you to be. The silence you maintain is not a void, but rather a space filled with divine purpose, where God's voice is the loudest. The world around you may be clamoring for explanations, demanding answers, or seeking to understand the journey you're on. but their curiosity does not dictate the revelations you are meant to share. As you grow closer to God, you will find that not every truth is meant to be spoken aloud, not every vision is meant to be announced, and not every divine encounter is meant to be shared. There is profound wisdom in protecting the sacredness of your relationship with God. Imagine for a moment the intimacy between a father and his child. The whispered words of encouragement, the promises spoken in secret, the dreams that are nurtured in the quiet of that relationship, these are not meant to be shouted from the rooftops. They are meant to be cherished, held close, and allowed to grow in the heart until the right time. God's chosen ones, like a child held in the arms of a loving father, are often entrusted with divine secrets. These are not meant to be shared hastily or casually. Instead, they are meant to be pondered, prayed over, and kept in the heart until the moment comes when God says, "Now it's time." Many who walk in the world do not understand this kind of discretion. They live in a culture that celebrates oversharing, where the private becomes public in an instant, and the sacred is often treated as commonplace. But as one of God's chosen, you are called to live differently. You are called to guard what is holy. In the same way that a treasure is hidden and protected, the insights, revelations, and promises God gives you must be handled with care. They are treasures of the kingdom, not to be thrown carelessly before the world, but to be shared at the appointed time, for the appointed purpose. What happens when you reveal these sacred things too soon? There is a risk that the weight of their significance may be lost on those who are not prepared to receive them. Some will question, some will doubt, and others may even try to dismiss or diminish the very thing that God has placed on your heart. This is not because they are inherently malicious, but because they are not in tune with the spiritual depth of what is happening in your life. What is meaningful to you, what is life-altering for you, may not yet be understood by those around you. In these moments, your silence is an act of protection, not just for yourself, but for the sanctity of the journey you are on with God. There is a peace that comes with trusting God's timing. It frees you from the need to explain yourself or seek validation from others. When you rest in the knowledge that God is in control, you no longer feel the pressure to share everything that is happening within you. You understand that not every part of your journey needs an audience. Some things are meant to be worked out in the secret place of your relationship with God. In these moments of quiet, in the stillness of your spirit, you are being prepared for something greater. The dreams God has given you are being refined, the visions are being sharpened, and your faith is being strengthened. One of the greatest tests of faith is the ability to wait in silence. The world equates action with progress, noise with significance, and visibility with success. But God's ways are different. In His kingdom, growth often happens in the unseen places. Like a seed buried in the soil, your spiritual growth occurs in the quiet, dark places where no one can see. It is in these moments that your roots go deep, that your character is formed, and that your trust in God is solidified. When you learn to embrace the silence, you are not just waiting passively, you are actively trusting that God is at work, even when you cannot see it. This kind of trust requires a deep sense of security in your identity as God's chosen one. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone. You do not need to explain or justify the path you are on. You are walking in step with the Almighty, and that is enough. In the quietness of your heart, you can hear His voice more clearly, guiding you, comforting you, and directing your steps. When you are constantly sharing, explaining, or seeking validation, the noise of the world can drown out the voice of God. But in the silence, His voice becomes your anchor, steadying you in the midst of uncertainty. As you walk this path, you will also discover that silence is not a sign of weakness but of strength. It takes great courage to hold back when the world is pushing you to speak. It takes wisdom to know when to reveal and when to remain silent. And it takes faith to trust that God's timing is perfect, even when you are eager to share the wonderful things He is doing in your life. This kind of strength is not found in the world's definition of power, but in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are in Christ. There is also a spiritual power in keeping certain things hidden until the right moment. When you move in silence, you are operating in a realm of faith that defies the natural. You are trusting that God will bring about the fulfillment of His promises in His time. without the need for human intervention. This kind of faith is powerful because it is rooted in the unseen. It is the kind of faith that pleases God, for without faith, it is impossible to please Him. When you keep certain things between you and God, you are exercising this faith, trusting that He is working behind the scenes in ways that you cannot yet see. This kind of discretion builds your spiritual discernment. You become more attuned to the leading of the Holy Spirit, more sensitive to His guidance. You learn to recognize when it is time to speak and when it is time to remain silent. This discernment is a gift, and it grows stronger the more you practice it. As you walk in obedience to the prompting of the Spirit, you will find that He leads you into greater wisdom, greater understanding, and greater depth in your relationship with God. The things you keep to yourself are not about secrecy for its own sake, but about honoring the sacredness of your relationship with God. It is about recognizing that some things are too precious to be shared before their time. It is about understanding that your journey with God is unique, and not everyone will understand it. And it is about trusting that God, in His infinite wisdom, knows the perfect time for everything to be revealed. As you continue on this path, may you find peace in the silence, strength in the waiting, and joy in the intimate moments you share with your Creator. May you walk confidently, knowing that you are chosen, loved, and guided by the One who holds all things in His hands. And may you always remember that some of the most powerful things in life are not spoken but lived. In the quiet journey of being one of God's chosen, there is a profound strength in keeping sacred things close to your heart. It is in the moments of silence, of waiting on God's perfect timing, that your faith deepens and your spirit strengthens. What you withhold is not out of secrecy, but out of reverence for the divine process unfolding in your life. As you trust God's wisdom, you walk in His purpose, knowing that what is meant to be revealed will come forth in His appointed time. Until then, hold on to the peace that comes from the stillness, knowing that the treasures of your heart are safe in the hands of the One who called you.